Bombshell report coming in from Jay Glazer of Fox Sports. He says that Maxx Crosby wants out of Las Vegas. We're going to talk about that. Plus, will the Bears get interested? Are they interested in trading for Crosby? We'll, of course, discuss that as well. My name is Harrison Graham. This is Chicago Bears Now. This is why you should subscribe to the channel. When big news drops, we break it down here on the channel as we bring you the latest news, rumors, trade buzz, analysis, and more. We got free agency and draft coverage. We want to hear from you. Sound off in the comments. Be a part of our live shows. We'll be live this afternoon. Trying to get to 157,000 subscribers. The more subscribers we get, the more content we're able to do. So join the movement today. All right, Jay Glazer via Yahoo Sports saying, I do think that Crosby is leaving the Raiders. He'd probably fetch more than Micah Parsons. It's real. This is Max's decision. He doesn't want to do it anymore. He was just like, quote, I'm not going through another rebuild. And look, this is obviously a bombshell from Glazer if it is true. Now, it's kind of out of nowhere that he just casually mentioned this on a random show on Yahoo Sports. So obviously it's gotten a lot of play online. Is it true? Is it not? Of course, Raider fans are like, this is fake news. On the flip side, Jay Glazer historically has not put out garbage. So I at least take this with some value here when it comes to the potential of Maxx Crosby wanting out and getting traded. And look, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Maxx Crosby should want out. It has not worked. He's played for a consistent loser in Las Vegas. The only year they made the playoffs was the Gruden scandal year, and Rich Bisaccia rallied the troops, and they made the postseason and lost in the first round. But other than that, 8 or less wins in every year of his career. The last 2 years combined, 6-27. Another new head coach. This will be his 6th head coach when you factor in Bisaccia's interim year or half season in 2021. Now, I'm excited about the Klint Kubiak hire, but I think on both sides, it makes sense for a breakup. If you're the Raiders, commit to a rebuild, lean into Klint Kubiak and the offense and Fernando Mendoza and build up that side of the ball. You've got Ashton Genty on a rookie contract. You've got Brock Bowers on a rookie contract. You got Fernando Mendoza at your disposal with the number 1 pick. You need to add to that offensive line. Crosby can fetch you some assets to fully commit to that rebuild. And on Max's side, like, he'll be 29 next season. Like, it's time. Like, he should and probably does want to play for a contender. And by the time the Raiders are good, he may be past his prime. So, I just think it's like a perfect storm. Like, he should want out. They should want to trade him to get assets while they're still there, because a defensive lineman who's dealt with some injuries, once he turns 30, his value goes down significantly. So I think it's the perfect time to trade him. I really do. And I'm not just saying that from a Bears standpoint as someone who would be interested in Maxx Crosby. I'm just saying in general. Like, it makes a lot of sense from a Raiders perspective to move on from Maxx. Now, will they? That's a different story. Type T for trade, K for keep. What will the Raiders do with Maxx Crosby? Will they trade him? It feels more possible than ever. Until it happens, though, you just never know. So we'll have to wait and see. Now, Jay Glazer said something interesting in there that I don't know if I fully believe this part of it. He thinks it'll cost more than the Micah Parsons trade package for what the Cowboys got, which I'm going to kind of push back against that here in just a few moments, because I think there's reasons to question that part of the report and the logic behind that. So we'll dive into that here in just a second. But the big game is almost here, and it's a perfect time to get started with Prize Picks. There's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than on Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. And since the big game is right around the corner, that also means it's your last chance to get into the football action before next season. So close the season out right with Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. You could follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app, like me at HGramNFL, and copy their lineups in one click, whether it's a friend, celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like. Hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. And take advantage of the Big Game Max discount Drake May, half a passing yard. You can throw this into one of your lineups, 2 to 6 player lineups. This is already one player, half a passing yard. You're halfway home to a victory on a 2-player lineup. So get started with Prize Picks today. Pick more, pick less, and stat projections available. Download the app. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it is good to be right. Let's revisit the Micah Parsons trade. So the Packers got Micah, 2 first-round picks, and Kenny Clark to Dallas. I mean, that's a pretty hefty offer, right? 2 firsts and a good player in Kenny Clark. Not an all-pro, but a good player in Kenny Clark. There is no chance I would top that package when it comes to the Bears trading for Maxx Crosby. I'm just not going to do it. And it's not because I don't think Max is a special player. It's because the Bears are going to need draft capital as they continue to enter this win-now window. Why? Because, yeah, they have flexibility for the next couple of years, but once you have to pay Caleb Williams, which you want to do, because that means he continues to ascend, what do you have to do? You have to hit in the draft. So trading your next 2 first-round picks, that's a pretty hefty price to pay for a guy who is awesome and is still only going to be 29, but he's closer to 30 than he is 25, whereas Micah Parsons was closer to 25 than he was 30. And the last 2 years, Maxx Crosby has finished the year banged up. Missed 5 games 2 years ago. This year, missed 2 games. I'm not offering 2 first-round picks. I think that ship is sailed. Unless I'm getting like a second back or something like that, like a good pick back, I'm not trading 2 first-round picks. And Ian Rappaport was asked about this. He went on Raider Nation Radio and said it's not going to be Micah Parsons' compensation because Parsons was younger, but a late first-round pick would be real if that's what it was. They're not going to just replace Maxx Crosby, even if they hit on a great pass rusher. They're still not going to replace him. What you do is you replace him with the player and then use the money to go get another good player and really build up or to go get other good players and really build up the foundation of the team, which is the argument I've made. For sure, you can make an argument that trading him makes sense. Now, that leads to a whole new question. So what is the trade value? I think Glazer saying it's going to be more than the Micah offer. I think that's way too high. I would also argue just like 1 late first-round pick is probably too low. Like, honestly, I'd probably keep him if I was the Raiders. If it was just worth like if you're the Bears and you could get him for only 25, that's a pretty easy decision. I would do that in a heartbeat. I'll tell you in a minute what I would be willing to give up. I feel like it's somewhere in the middle. I don't think it's 2 firsts and a player. I also don't think it's just 1 late first-round pick. I think it's somewhere in between all of that. But I do think it'll be less than the Micah trade offer. Why? He'll be 29 this year, where Micah was 26 when he got traded. That's almost a full contract earlier. He's been banged up, like I mentioned, the past 2 years, and he's played a ton of snaps. He does not come off the field, which is awesome, and you love that, but it also leads to the possibility of his peak could be like right now instead of like 31, 32. Like he could fall off earlier than other guys just based on mileage. So I think all those reasons point to a guy that should not get what Micah Parsons got in the Packers trade last year. So here is my trade idea. 25 overall, a 3rd next year, and then DJ Moore or Gervon Dexter. If the Raiders want to get Fernando Mendoza another weapon, cool. If they want Gervon Dexter, a guy in the final year of his rookie deal, to see if he fits whatever scheme they're going to run better, cool, because it didn't seem like Dexter was a great scheme in this Dennis Allen defense. I'd be cool parting with either of those players. We've talked about why with DJ. Sheds money, you got Burden, you got Rome. And then with Dexter, to me, he kind of is what he is. I'm cool having him next year, but it seems more likely than not he will not get a second contract here. So if the Raiders are interested in him, if they don't want to bring on the contract to DJ Moore, then maybe they'd be interested in a guy like Gervon Dexter. I think that's a pretty good trade package. A first, a 3rd next year, which is a day 2 pick, and then still a good receiver and a young defensive tackle who is not great, but has shown flashes and is a solid player. He would certainly be in the Raiders rotation at worst, if not a potential starter. So I think that's a good offer. That's kind of right in between what Glazer and Rappaport are reporting, as they clearly are either hearing different things or projecting different things in terms of what Max's trade offer would be. But I'm not going to go crazy on a trade. I'm cool signing Trey Hendrickson. I'm cool pursuing other avenues. Don't get me wrong. I want Maxx Crosby, but I'm not breaking the bank to do it in terms of trade compensation because you're also bringing on his contract. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if Maxx comes out with some kind of statement debunking this report from Glazer, but it'll be very interesting to see how the next few weeks play out, especially once the Combine gets here. That's when these trade discussions really ramp up because all the executives are in Indianapolis at the same time. Okay, so I'll ask you, would you do 2 firsts and a player for Crosby? Because I would not. I would not give up that much for Maxx Crosby. Type Y for yes, type in for no. First, third, and a player, okay. Like, it'd still be a lot, but it's not as hefty of a price. My name is Harrison Graham. We will be live this afternoon, 4 o'clock Central Time, so join myself, producer Cullen Brown. We'll take your questions and talk more about everything surrounding the Chicago Bears. Should be a fun show, so we will see you then. Turn on those notifications so you don't miss out, and bear down.